Good evening, Alice.
Good evening,
How are you?
Paul. I'm absolutely fine. How are you, Paul, tonight?
I'm good. Well, welcome everybody. It's Wednesday evening. It's 7 o'clock, not 8 o'clock. So it's time for one thing: Spiritual
Spiritual Talk
Talk TV.
TV.
Good evening, Alice. Good evening, everyone. We are live.
We sure are.
We show up, but it's 7 p.m. It's not 8 p.m. And please do not
No,
adjust your set. This is not a recording. We are live. And we've gone live at 7 p.m. for one reason, because we have a very special guest.
we sure do, Paul.
We sure do. Sure. Do you know what? I'm so excited. I'm going to introduce Diana Cooper right now. Yes, I've let the cat out of the bag. If you don't know already, we have the brilliant Diana Cooper. Now, Diana Cooper has been working with the angelic realms since her guide appeared to her. Her mission is to connect people to the angels, dragons, unicorns, and Atlantis for personal and planetary ascension. Diana has written over 30 books that are translated into 28 languages. She has also produced many card decks as well. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Diana Cooper. Good evening, Diana, and thank you for coming on Spiritual Talk.
It's my pleasure.
And I believe that picture behind you is your guide. Am I right in saying that?
No, that's Archangel
Oh.
Christie.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry, I've tried to watch. Yeah. Ah, I see. Beautiful. One of the things we like to know about our guests on Spiritual Talk is a little brief intro, how it all started for you. And I know your guide showed himself at a particular point in your life. How did that change your life from that point
Well,
onwards?
actually, totally and utterly, because I came from a background that was totally 3D. My family, they just thought anything to do with spiritual stuff was woo-woo and crazy. And they did to
Yeah.
the dying day, I might add. But I was in despair. I was getting divorced. Everything seemed black in my life. I could not see a future. And I just sat on the bed and said, if there's anything out there, show me. And you've got 1 hour. And an angel came in. I mean, even though I had no spiritual understandings, I absolutely knew it was an angel. And it held out a hand and took me on a journey out of my body, round the universe, showed me my future, and then brought me back exactly 1 hour to the minute later. And it was like, wow, something amazing's
Wow.
happening here. But what do I do with it? So I wrote the experience down and I waited. And then I decided to train to be a hypnotherapist. And then I started meeting people on an angelic wavelength. But it was 10 years later. I worked then as a hypnotherapist and I was aware of angels around, but I didn't connect with them. But 10 years later, I was lying in the bath asking for some guidance about the classes I was running then. And this angelic voice came in and said, we want you to tell people about angels. And I said, no way. No, people think I'm crazy already. I'm not doing that. And the voice said something I have never forgotten. So who is doing your work? Is it your ego or your higher self? And I said, of course I will. I got out of the bath, I put a towel around me, and I sat down, and 3 angels came in front of me and gave me all sorts of information about the angelic realms. And that information then became my first angel book. And so, yeah, from that moment, I have totally dedicated my life to them, to working with them, connecting with them, and teaching other people about them. And I think one of the most important things I've learned is it's not what you say, it's actually the energy that you give out that people pick up. And that's what changes them. And so I just find it such an exciting journey, but it's all about shifting myself. And all
Yeah.
those years as a hypnotherapist, every client I used to think, now I'm going to learn something about me. This person's come to me because I can help them, but also because they're a mirror of something I need to do. And I said to my guide once, well, I feel really rather guilty because I'm learning so much and I've got these problems and this person's come with the same problems. And he said, it's the part of you that's already learnt that is talking to that person. And I thought that's so helpful because until then I thought, well, how is this working? But actually, the part of you that's already learnt it, that's the bit that comes through in the vibration.
Yeah.
So that was really helpful to me when he said that. And that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Yeah. But I'm going to say 30 years ago, to be even talking about the angelic realms, it was quite a difficult thing and a brave thing to do, you know. But your books have gone on and become really successful. You've published all across the world. And I know when I've mentioned to people you're coming on, they've been very excited about your coming on. But there's so much, and I'm excited for lots of personal reasons because there's so much I would like to know about the angelic realms. And I have read one of your early books, but there's still. I said to you before we went live, there's still a part of me that when I experience things, it's more believing. So I kind of struggle with that whole what's real, what's not real, and we talked earlier about the ego as well, and getting the ego in the way. So to have experiences with your angels and have that connection is really rare. So can you tell us a little bit more about how the angelics work around us and with us?
We are always surrounded by angels. Your guardian angel is with you every moment. Now, I worked a lot with orbs. Now, they are the sixth dimensional light body of an angel captured on film. And I was absolutely intrigued. If you need your guardian angel, in other words, you're anxious, you're upset, or you're in danger, your guardian angel is right there over you. If you're relaxed and happy, your guardian angel appears as an orb on the wall, not that far away, but not exactly on you because you don't need them. The moment you need your angel, it is there with you. And I've seen orbs of people with their guardian angel in their throat chakra, and that the guardian angel is trying to get them to say the right words to help the situation. And so they're always in exactly the right place, trying to help you in the best possible way. So the next thing somebody says is, well, where was her guardian angel when my child had an accident or drowned or whatever? And the answer is, if the soul declares that you must have an accident because you need it for your growth, or it's your time to die, and that's your soul decision, then your angel cannot interfere. But if you ask, then they will help you. So the answer to where was the angel when the child drowned is holding the child's hand and helping them to pass over properly and easily. So the angel is always there with you. And we are surrounded by angels. The more you work with angels, the more there are around you. And I had an experience, again, this must be 20 years ago. I was doing a course and I was staying in a bed and breakfast. And this lady who owned the bed and breakfast, unbeknown to me, was a medium. And the first day when I got home, she said to me, because there were several of us staying there, you left a whole lot of angels here this morning, unemployed, doing nothing while you've been out. And I learned that you have, you know, angels are with you. They want you to direct them. They want you to send them to help other people, to help nature, to help the animals. And so they're around us all the time, waiting for that. And if we don't create the bridges with our thoughts and requests, then they're unemployed and just hanging around. So it's
Okay.
really important that we do send them off on missions to help the world. And it does make a difference. Every single time you ask an angel to help somebody or do something, it's never wasted. Know that energy, even if they can't help that person for some sole reason, then that energy is all added together and they might be able to use it to help somebody else or an animal. It's absolutely astonishing how much of our energy makes a difference.
Can I just ask you, Diana, when you say the angels show themselves to you, do they show themselves to you physically in front of you where you can actually see them, or do you actually see them in your mind's eye? How do they show, in what way is it they show themselves to you?
Well, I was discussing this with Paul beforehand.
All right.
Mostly I work with claircognizance. Now that
Yes.
is knowing. And as
Yes.
you know, that's a higher frequency than clairvoyance. You have to actually bring your energy down to see. And if I know something, I absolutely know it. And I was just telling Paul that, again, many years ago, I was doing a workshop in Ireland. And the lady who was organizing the workshop was a clairvoyant. She was very, very good. And she took me to the radio station, the local radio station, to give a talk and to the man. And at the end, he said to me, "Okay, I'd like you to describe my guardian angel." My heart sank. And then suddenly I was just about to say, "Look, I'm sorry, I can't see him." And suddenly I knew. I knew exactly what color it was. I knew exactly what its wings were like. I knew where it was standing. I knew what it was saying to the man and what it was trying to impart to him. And so I was able to tell him. And this lady who was a clairvoyant actually got up and she looked through the glass panel into the studio and she said, "You were describing exactly what I was seeing." So what I want to say is you don't have to see.
No.
Just know, just feel, just sense. And that you are then connected.
Yeah. It's
Very
just the
often,
same. Yeah.
yeah, the energy of it is so important.
Yeah.
Have the angels given you an idea of their own reality in terms of their structure of the spheres, or do they talk about their own experience with you?
No, they don't talk about their own experience because they're always here serving us. No, that is their role. And I've had many, many experiences where they've come in to help me with something, and I've absolutely known it. And I mean, I can't tell you how amazing they are. And the archangels are now really connecting with people. And for the first time ever since the fall of Atlantis, we're finding that the seraphim, who are the 12th dimensional angels around the Godhead, two of them are coming in to help humanity too. And in fact, we got an orb of one of them, of Seraphina, the seraphim. And it's just awesome that all these incredible beings are helping us now.
So,
Just
am I right in saying the seraphim are the right hand of God or the left hand? I forget which way round. There's talk
no
about
idea,
the seraphim
but
being very close to God.
they chant the vibration of creation. So they take the energy, as I understand it, of source, and then they send that down in a vibration to the next level down. And so, I mean, they don't like us to talk about hierarchy because we're all one. And so just talk about not even levels, but just all part of the tapestry of the angelic realms.
And this is what I've heard in my mediumship. They are there of service and to be of service and to hold the fabric of life together, which goes beyond any comprehension I could get my head around, Diana. I can't even comprehend what on every level. I was even told there was an angelic vibration in color, which again, I think it's absolutely amazing. What somebody asked me once, do you think
That's such an important thing you've just said, because every time you eat a vegetable or touch a flower, the color vibration of that vegetable belongs to an archangel and is coming through you. So if
Yeah.
you eat
wow,
a plant that's got a yellow flower, then you're taking in the energy of Archangel Uriel. And peas have a white flower, and so you're taking in some of Gabriel's energy. So yes, what you've said is so important.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And I know I've been your YouTube channel is fantastic, by the way. So guys, I would recommend popping on to. You've got over 1,000 videos on there. You do meditations, you do all sorts. You also talk about the unicorns and the dragons, and I want to try and touch on all of those, and also the 5D that's coming in 2022 that we've been talking about. And I also want to try to get to all the people are sending in lots of questions as well. So we've got to try and work as quick as we possibly can tonight.
Paul,
Can we kick it off? Yes, sorry, go on.
you're vibrating really badly just now.
Am I?
Yeah, there's a lot of vibration. Yeah, I can hardly hear you.
Yeah, the vibration is quite bad.
Let me change. I'm so sorry. Let me change my plan. Better?
Okay.
Is
Let's
that
see.
better? Can you hear me
Yes.
now?
Yes, that's better.
Probably not the same quality. I've got the gremlins in again, so we're going to ask the angelics to try and help us with the sound. What I was trying to say is we want to kind of touch on all things: unicorns, dragons, and the 5D reality that's coming, or consciousness. There's a difference, isn't there? And we've also got some great questions, haven't we, Alice, as well, coming up on the comments here.
Yes.
Liz has asked, do you believe angels come to Earth disguised as humans? Do you believe that's possible, Diana?
I believe it's possible, but I don't believe it very often happens. I think that it's much more common that a human is touched by an angel and given angelic qualities at that moment to make something happen. But I've heard loads and loads of stories where a person has come out of nowhere and then disappeared, and they've realized it was an angel. So yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. We got so many. Oh yes. Also interesting. So Eva's asked, hi Eva, ask Diana if you ever are going to find out where Atlantis was located.
Well, Atlantis lasted for 260,000 years. So it was a very long civilization. When it first started, it filled the whole of the Pacific basin, the Atlantic basin. And so it was the whole area. And then there were 5 experiments. Each time it was flooded and then brought out again, it was smaller. And the last time it was just 5 islands. And we can see the edge of it in Lanzarote. There are still places there which still have that Atlantean energy, Bermuda, and many places. And so, yeah, we will know probably on a physical level too.
Yeah.
But it was just such an amazing time, the golden era. Out of that 260,000 years, 1,500 years was the golden age when everybody was 5th dimensional and they all were in connection with their angels, had their 12 strands of DNA connected, were awesome beings. Now, here's the really exciting thing. After 2032, we're moving into the new golden age where everybody will be 5th dimensional, but we will be moving, not immediately, but in time, we'll be moving to a level higher than they had in Atlantis. And one of the reasons for that is Atlantis, what the golden era was a 5th dimensional age on a 3rd dimensional planet. When the new golden age comes in, the planet itself will be 5th dimensional. And so the people on it will be able to move to a higher frequency.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. We have got awesome things to look forward to. just amazing. And we can see the energy changing around us all the time.
Yeah.
Can we break that down slightly? Because there'll be people at home going, I'm not sure what that means for me. What would that mean for the average person, Diana? Do you believe? What happens to us in that?
What happens to us is that the more we raise our frequency, in other words, live according to higher principles and especially love, and the more we are open-hearted, generous, giving, and bring in our 12 chakras, then the more we live in that vibration. Now, when you're fifth dimensional, your needs are automatically met. And so you let go of all this poverty stuff and you live in abundance consciousness when everything that you need is provided. The angels bring it to you. And life is completely different. The new golden age that we're moving into is about community, is about people sharing and caring with each other. And it's a time when everybody, for the first time since Atlantis, is able to experience true love. And so when everyone is connected to their angels, the unicorns, the dragons, and connected to true love, then it's going to be a beautiful, amazing, wonderful time.
Yeah.
And we are preparing rapidly for it now.
And on a science perspective, I don't know if you've ever heard of Professor Peter Fenwick, who he's a neuropsychologist, and he records a lot of near-death experiences. But he's been recently talking about people reporting their experience of consciousness is changing. So not just we sit here and we talk about this stuff, but people at home be like, well, a lot of people believe in science proving all things. Well, science is starting to wake up to this, which is fantastic. So it's not just on a from our perspective as mediums or people that are able to connect with angels, it's science. And that's what I find it's so exciting about this particular age that we're living in or living through.
Right. Subatomic physics is telling us that what you believe actually happens. And so when the scientists are saying this, and that the thoughts of the experimenter affect the results of the experiment, so that if you're sending out positive thoughts, then you're going to be more healthy. And science is really telling us this now.
So I'm gonna admit this live on air, okay? And do you know what? It's what happened to me. And about just over a year ago, I had a visit from an angelic being telling me to raise my vibration for my celestial body. It said it was time, and that's all I've had. So I've been trying to raise my vibration. I've even gone pescatarian. I've stopped eating meat. So I'm trying everything to raise that vibration. And it's even got into my head about practicing kindness or trying to. And my son laughs at me when I say that.
No, it's really important. And there are certain things that you can do. One of them, of course, is literally every day bring in your 12 chakras, because that automatically starts you living in the fifth dimension. As you say, practice kindness and non-judgment. It's one of my very favorite stories that changed my life. A friend of mine was in a beauty spot and there was litter everywhere, and she was thinking awful thoughts about all the people that had dropped the litter. And this voice said from nowhere, and what about the psychic litter you are leaving with your judgmental thoughts? Whoa. And that changed my life, because I then immediately started first with litter. As soon as I saw a piece of litter, I changed my judgment to bless the person that dropped it, bless them with a feeling of belonging and self-worth. Because if you've got belonging and self-worth, you don't drop litter. But then it went on to other things, and I started trying to train my mind to send out a kind thought where I might have been judgmental. And that's a matter of trying, practicing, and changing. And we can all do it. And when we all get to that level and there's no judgment, then there are no wars. Because as soon as somebody sends you a judgmental thought, you pick it up and you put up a barrier, a wall. And so that person is not going to respond to you because they can't get through the wall that you've put up. And as soon as you change that to acceptance and they let that wall down, then you can have peace, harmony, and rapport between you. And that would be the end of wars, because the new golden age is starting in 2032. So that all who are fifth dimensional will be moving into that frequency. But it cannot start until we have total peace and international cooperation. However, there are cosmic events happening in 2032 where the heart chakras of all the planets all merge and coincide and open together, which is going to profoundly affect everybody on Earth and allow more love energy in and shift people so that we can have that international cooperation. And when that happens, Spirit is going to give us the keys and codes of free power and all these things that we've been striving for but haven't been able to get because we're not ready for it. As soon as we're ready, then we will have massive influx of new spiritual technology that will literally shift everything on the planet, and people will be able to live in complete harmony together. It is awesome that we are living at this time when the old third dimensional paradigm is just collapsing around us. We can see what's happening with the banks, the high streets, money, schools, the health services, everything everywhere, because that has to go before the new comes in. And when people say how tough it is, then the reminder is that you chose to be here during this exciting and incredible time, however tough it is, because it's a time of maximum spiritual growth. There's never been such an opportunity for spiritual growth anywhere on this planet as there is right now. And so if we can hold the vibration, the calmness, the steadiness, and hold the divinity of everything, then our lives change and we move the whole planet up to its new frequency.
It makes perfect sense, Diana. It's lovely to hear you say that. And when you talk about the angels as well, as a child, I always played with angels. And then I went to a Catholic school, so it wasn't new to me to talk about angels, but it was kind of different. It was more ordered, which I felt a little bit. I couldn't understand that. It didn't seem natural to me, and it's not. And it wasn't until later on when I started to do my mediumship that I working with spirit world and working with the angels, and it came in the way I used to feel, that feeling here when I was a child. So it is beautiful. It is beautiful. And you're very, very lucky as well to have had the experiences you've had to share with others.
And brave as well. You've been brave because of your background and where you've come from. You've been on and I noticed today you have done some big TV programs that everyone would know. You've been interviewed by Paul O'Grady. Everyone knows your name and what you're associated to, and that does take a level of taking away that ego and putting yourself out there. Do
you know, the bottom line is, it doesn't feel brave because that was my mission. That's what I was told to do. So that's what I did. And that's all there is. I mean, I think that it was very hard for my family. My parents, for example, were totally embarrassed and ashamed of me right to the day they died. And when my daughter mentioned my books, my father just threw them on the floor, couldn't cope with it at all. And so I think for them, it was really, really tough. And I know that my brothers, for example, just think I'm crazy. Not that I see very much of them because we're just on different frequency bands.
Yeah, I can resonate with that one. Yeah, absolutely. And it's,
and I also like to say to people that when your Earth Star chakra is in, when you've got that basis in Earth, the fifth dimensional base Earth Star chakra, then you are moved to the right place where you will meet your soul connections, your soul family, and find yourself living in a place that feels right for you. And people are suddenly deciding deciding that they need to move country, move house. And this is why. It's because more and more people are getting their Earth Star chakras in.
And just quickly going back slightly, Diana, to what we were talking about, the ascension and 2032, and it being so much change. And you touched on change, banks collapsing, everything changing. Now, generally, people would fear that. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, etc., etc. And I think it's really important that we don't fear what's the changes that are coming, because it is beneficial to us. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. My guide always says give absolutely no energy to conspiracy theories. It doesn't matter whether they're true or not, they're all based on darkness. And we do not wish to energize that. So I try not to have any conversations with anybody about those things, because I don't want that in my energy fields.
Yeah.
And there are amazing, wonderful things out there. If you focus on the angelic realms, then you will be surrounded by the angelic realms. So why focus on all the stuff that you see in papers? I haven't watched television now for a year because I just thought, I don't actually want that energy in my fields at all, or in my home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what we focus on is what we get in our lives.
Yeah.
And if you're focused on fear, then your life becomes very uncomfortable. Your body reacts to it. Everything around you collapses. So it takes exactly the same amount of energy, or actually probably more, to focus on fear than it does to focus on abundance and the wonders that are available. As soon as you're fifth dimensional, and your third eye is fifth dimensional, that sends out an energy that attracts to you the good things, what you're ready for.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even hi, Michael. Michael said, I've cut out on the news as well. I feel so much better now.
Yeah, I know loads of people that just no longer watch the news. And why should we? Because it's not even the truth.
No, it's not.
It's
Right.
certain people who have power have decided that we should be fed. And actually, I don't want to be fed that stuff. There are wonderful, wonderful stories out there, and great and good things. And, I think people also need to remember, and I think this is coming back now, the power of nature to heal. We've had so much concrete around, and that's blocked our connection to the earth. And now people are remembering and walking out in nature, going into the woods and connecting with the peace, the love, the energy that's there. People say go and hug a tree, and it's almost one of those things you say, but it's actually true. And divine energy comes down through the trees into the earth, and you connect with it.
Yeah.
And people also say, well, how do you connect with an angel? The very first thing the angel said to me to tell people was to surround themselves in a golden aura, because gold, as you know, is the frequency of the angels. It's the angelic frequency. It's the frequency of love and wisdom. And so if you are surrounding yourself in a golden aura, then it's much easier for an angel to connect with you. And then all you have to do is just say, please connect, and sit quietly. And you might hear a whisper. You might feel a touch. You might feel a little breeze across you as your angel connects with you. But if you're in a golden aura, magical things happen. And in fact, I had it here. I'll put it down. That's a shame. Put it here. Oh. I know that I saw this on my desk earlier. This is an orb of Archangel Chamuel, the angel of love. And he's there's an angel of love in the middle. There's Archangel Chamuel's pink energy. And then on the outside, there's the energy of the universal angel Mary. And when you look at that, it opens your heart. And so what I do sometimes is I just imagine I'm inside the orb, and I breathe that pink energy around me in that heart shape, which is so symbolic. And recently I was walking my dogs in the woods and I stood on this bridge and I just was breathing this energy out, sending love out all around me. When I opened my eyes, there was a kingfisher sitting right in front of me on the twig. My dogs were sitting on one side of me, and wait for it, there was a fox sitting on the other side of me.
Wow.
When I opened my eyes and moved, of course, the bird flew away, the dogs chased the fox. It was chaos. But at that moment, while I was in that energy of Archangel Chamuel, the angel of love, everything was harmony, and they were not fighting, they were absolutely contented. And so I just think that's such an easy thing to do and so beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you mind if we now talk about dragons
Not at all.
and
Dragons.
unicorns?
Dragons, yeah. Well,
Yes, please.
they
So,
are part of the angelic realms.
yeah. So dragons are connected to the angelic realms, or are they slightly different?
No, they're part of the angelic realm, but they are on a slightly different frequency band. But they are beautiful, heart-centered beings, and they have come to serve us. And they've been looking after humanity for eons. And it's already beginning, the interference has started up again.
Or is that
But
me? Is it me?
the,
Alex? Oh, there's a bit of a sound back. Sorry, guys, on a reverb. Can you hear that, Alice? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I
That's
can hear it. Yeah,
that's
fine.
better.
Yeah, so we were talking about dragons and connecting to the
Everybody has a dragon. And so
okay.
call your personal dragon and it will look after you. It's usually the same as your birth sign. So if you're a fire sign, you will have a fire dragon. If you are an earth sign, you will probably have an earth dragon. If you're an air sign, you'll probably have an air dragon. If you're a water sign, you'll probably have a water dragon. And so they all carry different energies, but they're all there to look after you and protect you and help you. They are absolutely loving and strong. And you can send, for example, earth dragons to go to a place where there's been a conflict and to go through the earth and to clear the energies of the ley lines. You can ask the fire dragons to go into a situation and burn up any of the energies. You can ask the air dragons to blow away stuff that's been hanging around in your own home or anywhere else. And you can ask the water dragons to go in and they leave Christ light wherever they go. So they are actually leaving that pure, unconditional love energy when you ask them to come in. And so dragons are just wonderful. And so, bless you. Talking about dragons now.
Yeah, okay. It's always the way. When you're live, these things always happen, don't they?
I can feel it coming.
I know. Oh, that's okay.
So I mean, it's kind of, because I believe I can't believe that, again, I'm admitting to this live on air. When I first spoke to you, Dana, I spoke to you about, I saw a red dragon coming away from my body, and I wasn't sure. Is a color significant to the type of dragon, or? So mine was red. What would that be? Well, the one I saw was red. Whether it was mine or not, I don't know. It was coming away from me, so I'm not
red
sure.
is a fiery color.
Okay.
So it almost certainly was a fire dragon, and you have to go out there and you have to talk and you have to meet people and do things. So you need that fire energy. Even though I'm an earth sign, I have a fire dragon.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Oh, that makes sense then, because I'm an earth sign. I'm a Virgo. So,
yes, am I.
Okay. Yeah. So a lot of people, I mean, I've got to be honest, I don't understand the significance of dragons. And again, it's about setting your intention to work with them as well, I guess.
Yes, it is. But they are incredibly in service to us. You know, at the end of Lemuria, they'd served so well that they were offered an opportunity to ascend to a higher frequency. And they said no, they would hold their evolution back in order to help humanity, because they knew that we would need them now during this 20-year period of transition. And indeed, everywhere, dragons are coming out of hibernation under the earth and appearing to help us. And they help in the angels. They start at the 7th dimensional frequency, and the dragons can be 4th dimensional and higher. So dragons can go into deep, dense energy that angels can't touch, so that they have a different purpose. So if I'm going on a journey, I will ask the dragons to go in front of the car to clear the pathway. I will ask the angels to surround me and hold the energy. And I will ask the unicorns to be above and just make sure that everything at a higher level is right. So they have different roles from their different frequency bands. So the unicorns then, they are much, much higher frequency. They can also be from 7th dimensional frequency higher. They are also part of living in the unicorn kingdoms and the angelic realms. They come through the causal chakras. So as soon as your energy is high enough and you've brought your 12 chakras in and your causal chakra above your head, then your unicorns can come in to help you. But they are known as the purest of the pure, because they are usually pure white, though they can go on to any other divine color frequency. And they radiate pure heart-centered love and light at a very high frequency into you. They are great healers. And so if you're touched by a unicorn, then that goes into your cells and can heal you. So unicorns are, and they love children. They're amazing with children. I remember once I was visiting my daughter, and this little girl came running down the road, and I think she was 6, and she hammered on the door with her mother chasing after, saying, "I've got to see Isabel's granny. I've got to see Isabel's granny," Isabel being my granddaughter. And she came in and she said, "I have to tell you, the only person I can tell, but my unicorn had a baby last night in my bedroom, and it's growing up to be my unicorn and look after me. And I had to tell you." And I thought, wow, isn't that wonderful? Isn't that amazing? That children are so pure and innocent that they get the energy and the unicorns come to them. And this little girl was very psychic and very special. And her mother was all apologizing, saying, no, this is wonderful that she can tell somebody. And it's absolutely okay.
I'm going to kind of sit on the fence and ask, be a bit of a devil's advocate. I'm so sorry, Dana, but is there any chance with the unicorn energy that they present themselves in that way? They're not to help us to feel their love and connection. Now we know they come from a different star system, and they've come in to help us. But is there any way they come in that unicorn form to show us that they are pure love, pure intention to do good? Is that possible, or are they generally how they are? Does that make sense in my question?
Right. Yeah. Because unicorn energy is a vast healing energy. So it's a pure energy that flows around the universe. They come from, as you obviously know, from Lyra, and they are on the other side of the Stargate of Lyra, and they come through from there now as soon as humans are ready to receive their energy back, which we now are. But they are just so full of love and light that we can now access them. Then they decided to take the shape of a horse, because a horse is a pure being of love. People recognize horses. Many people love horses. Horses carry the divine feminine light, and horses are great healers. So they took that shape, but that was just a decision that they took. They don't have to be that shape. They can be any shape. But that chosen shape to help humanity to recognize them. I mean, an angel is a being of light.
Yeah.
We see them as beings with wings because what we see is their heart center open, and the wings are radiations from their heart centers. And so that's, we humanize them.
Yeah.
But they are really just great lights, as are unicorns. And it's to help humans that we see them in that particular shape.
Because, sorry, I was going.
Can I ask Diana, what about fairies? Are they a lower frequency from the angels?
Well, after 2012, all the fairies became fifth dimensional. Before that, some of them were fourth dimensional. But they are beautiful beings, and they are just the youngest brothers and sisters of the angels. So they are also on that angelic frequency band, but they're just, as I say, evolving into the angelic realms. And in 2012, at the cosmic moment, many of the fairies then evolved into guardian angels, because the guardian angels, the lowest band of the angelic realms.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I just wondered.
Yeah, you know, there are so many elemental beings in the angelic realms. You know, all the goblins and the leprechauns and the gnomes and all of them, imps and pixies. They all have a different energy. They all have a different role, something different to do, but they're all serving the planet.
Yeah, it's just the you know, being atypical guy, you know, I've worked in a football background and lorry driving as well, and to try and impress someone that a unicorn is coming to help them, I would frankly be ridiculed. But to understand it as a higher frequency, and it's chosen to help us to understand its intention, it helps me to explain to those people that do not understand that concept. And I think people will be more open to that. There is a famous medium, I've mentioned her many times, where she'd spent 20 odd years working with her guides, and then one day he turned around and said, "Are you ready to see who I truly am?" And when he revealed himself, he was somebody from off planet. And she was horrified. "But you lied to me." He said, "No, I didn't lie to you. Yeah, I just came in a form that you would accept me." So
Yeah.
I'm not.
Why was she horrified that he was a?
He was an alien as well. And this was going back to the 50s, so we had different ideas. But she was more horrified. She was quite frightened.
So many people are connected with Commander Ashtar and the many beings from other star systems now.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I don't know how many years ago since I wrote the orb books, 2 books about orbs, and it was probably about 15 years. And the shape of the orbs has changed now so much. People are sending me orbs, and they are geometric shapes, and they are actually star beings from Sirius, the Pleiades, and other places. We weren't seeing those 15 years ago, but now they're coming in all the time, coming in to help us. And I personally think that the orbs were, I know that they came in because the angelic realms had promised us that they would show themselves to us. And so they impressed on the scientists to create a camera with the right frequency to capture their 6th dimensional light body. But they are so striking and amazing. Remember being in Thailand and caught in a rainstorm. And I showed this guy who was in this shop caught in the same rainstorm all pictures that I'd taken on my camera of Archangel Michael and one of Archangel Uriel. And he looked at them and he said, "Well, what are they?" And I explained what they were. And he said, "But if I hadn't seen them actually in your camera, I wouldn't have believed it. But now," he said, "I do believe it. And I'm going out to see if I can capture some." So his frequency is moving into the right frequency automatically to capture them.
Yeah.
It's amazing. When somebody is ready, then they are presented with the information and the proof. And as soon as somebody is ready, they will pick that up out of your energy fields.
Can I also ask about the archangels as well, and the importance of the archangels, because of a lot of us resonate towards Archangel Michael, Metatron. Is Metatron an archangel? I get
Absolutely.
Metatron.
Well, they're
And
actually
it's,
universal angels in that they cover many universes, not just this one.
ah,
But
okay.
yes, Archangel
So,
Metatron is my angel, and he's amazing. And he's come to me many, many times.
I've heard you speak about that angel quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I talk about him all the time because
Yeah.
to me, he's just awesome. I remember, perhaps it was a year or two ago, and I was just walking along one day, and he placed, as I walked, I was just, I think, chanting quietly to myself, he placed his Metatron cube, which I've got one here, right through me.
oh wow.
And literally, he brought it down and brought it right through my whole body and held me in it. And I mean, that was just simply awesome. You know, just looking at a Metatron cube connects you to his energies. It's so astonishing.
Yeah.
And I think on behind me up here, I just happen to have two. And the top one is Archangel Mariel, who's in charge of the soul star chakra. And the one below that is Archangel Christian with the Christ light. So you can see the golden energy of the Christ light with Christian. And he's in charge of the causal chakra, which is the unicorn energy. So he works with the unicorns. And just looking at it helps you with your connection.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. I know. Hi, Emma. Emma's asked, you keep saying he. I thought they were neither male or female.
Absolutely. They're androgynous, though they often give themselves either a female or a male persona because they also have twin flames. So for each male, so there's Michael and Faith, there's Metatron and Sandalphon, there's Gabriel and Hope. Each one has an equivalent. And so together they form a whole.
Yeah. Okay.
But they are androgynous, you know, they don't have sexuality like we do.
Another great question from Eva. She's asked, can you recommend some good books or oracle decks to learn more about the archangels? Eva says that the archangels are so incredibly interesting and would love to know more.
Okay, well, of course, I can recommend the Archangel Guide, which is my oracle deck about archangels, and it's got 44 archangels in them and how to connect with them and a picture of them. And so, yeah, it's a very, very good way to connect. And I think each one gives a little bit of guidance from them and information about them.
What was that called again? Because you broke up slightly on my side.
The Archangel Oracle Guide.
Okay, that's pretty simple. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, the Archangel deck.
Yeah, lovely. And any books as well you can recommend?
Okay, well, the first book I wrote about angels was New Light on Angels. Well, it was a Little Light on Angels. It's been updated to New Light on Angels. And then this year, I've updated 4 of my old books, and one of them is Angel Inspiration. Now, that's a very interesting one because I was just asleep one night. I was trying to finish a book that I was writing that I was really keen to finish before I went to Australia for 6 months. And I knew I'd just got time to finish it. I'm woken in the middle of the night by a ring of angels, and I feel as if they're levitating me from the bed, and they say, we want you to write a book about angels. You have to call it Angel Inspiration, and you have to start immediately. So the best laid plans. First thing in the morning, I started writing it. I wrote day and night, and I finished it and the other book before I went to Australia. And that's been updated recently because there's been so many changes over the last 15, 20 years. It's been unbelievable. You know, the Intergalactic Council has changed, the laws of karma have changed, the angelic realms have changed, the chakras have changed, everything. It's just a mark of how much we have grown as a planet and individuals.
Absolutely.
Massive shifts. have taken place.
Absolutely. I'm just sharing your website there as well, guys. Also, your YouTube channel's worth a look, guys, as well. There's lots of, you do a lot of guided meditations that help people as well. And I believe, yeah, there is a lot of stuff on there, and I highly recommend it. I want to ask you as well, Diane, before you go, what's next for you?
Well, I've got a new book coming out in August. It's The Golden Future, and the cards for it are coming out next year. And that is all about what's the time frame, what's happening, what we'll expect, what is going to happen after 2032 and then after 2050, how we will be living. And then there are ways of raising your frequency to bring this about for you more quickly. So it's a very powerful book. And it's really what we need now, because it's totally positive and fifth dimensional about what's going to happen.
When does that book come out, Diana?
August.
August. Okay.
Yeah, The Golden Future. We're always talking about the golden future. I just think it's such an important thing to tell everybody. You know, let go. We're moving into something amazing. Don't worry about your children and your grandchildren. They're going to have lives that you could even dream about, that are so much better. And the frequency everywhere is just shifting. There will be peace and there will be love, and it'll be just totally different.
Now, somebody else asked me a question to ask you today. And they said, why is it when there's a lot of stuff out on the internet that says, well, if you don't raise your vibration, you'll get left behind? Do you believe that, Diana?
I think what's happening is that if you choose to move into the fifth dimension, then you will stay on a fifth dimensional planet. But there is going to be a shift in the vibration, in the frequencies, a split in the frequencies. And so if you decide, it's your free choice, to be third dimensional and live in drama, as with wars and all the other challenges, then that's absolutely your choice and you can stay there. But if you really, really, really want to live in the new golden age, then raise your frequency. So there is something about it, but it shouldn't be done with fear. It should be done with the massive inspiration and joy that's ahead of us.
Because we live in a society or a world where there seems to be more and more mental health issues with people, anxiety, etc., etc. And to step out of that, can you give us any kind of guidance from the angels that would help us with that? Anything we could do to come out of that?
I think that every single day, if you sit down quietly for 10 minutes and you talk to the angels and you focus on the beautiful things in your life and what you do want, then your life has to change. People spend so much energy focusing on what they don't want. And they're giving the universe instructions to bring about what they don't want. And then they're surprised when it happens, because thoughts are very powerful. You hear people talking about all the awful things that are happening, and don't do that, because you're bringing that about. We are such powerful creators. And if we talk about things that we don't want to happen, we're making it happen. We're absolutely making it happen.
Yeah.
Can I just ask Diana, if you're in a partnership or a relationship and one of you are stuck in or quite happy to stay in the third dimension because they're not progressing any further, and the other partner is moving forward into more of a fourth and fifth dimension, then does that not put partnerships and marriages at risk then?
Yes, indeed. If you're determined to stay with somebody who's on a completely different vibration, then it's going to be very difficult. However, if you accept without any judgment that person and you stay in your truth and harmony and absolutely lovingly accept that person there, they then have the freedom to grow.
Yeah.
It's usually because we are so keen for them to join us in our frequency that we block them from doing so. And actually, everybody's divine. Everyone's got amazing potential.
Yeah.
And if they're not right for you, then it's another decision again to move on and walk alone.
Yeah, I'm sure quite a few people that, because you talk to people and you say, well, my partner's not like that and doesn't understand this, and but you're still, you still love your partner. And I'm not talking about me personally here, but I know other people have said to me about this, and I have thought about that, and I've thought, how does that then affect a marriage?
You said the magic word, love. If there's love there, it can work because you accept them. Love is about acceptance. They always say that when you're in love, it's an illusion, but actually it's the other way around. When you're in love, you see the divine in that person, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
And allowing yourself to be in love with your partner again starts a process of allowing that magic to happen where they can open up and move into your dimension. And also, the fact that somebody is not talking about angels and things doesn't mean to say that they're not spiritual, doesn't mean they're not fifth dimensional. There are many ways to ascend. You can ascend by being kind-hearted and loving and generous. And that is just as valid as being on an angel pathway. Just that my pathway is an angel pathway, which was kind of thrust on me. And that's the route I've taken. And so that's where I go. But I absolutely honor people who are on a different pathway, and they can ascend just as much. And they will have just as many angels around them, just they're not particularly connected to them.
Yeah, that was well said. There's a lot of guys.
Beautifully put.
It was beautifully put, and there's a lot of guys out there that just don't get it. But then with the energies and the changes coming, let's hope they'll feel it. They'll feel those changes within inside of them.
Yeah. And people are feeling it all the time. People are changing, and men are changing.
That's
huge shifts in men.
Yeah, there's also a lot of guys that I know. There's also a little bit of a lack of identity with some men as well in their masculine world. A lot of that is breaking down.
Yeah.
So I find that very interesting. But we could be here all night talking about it. Diana Cooper, we are so thrilled to have you've been here tonight. It's been fantastic.
Thank you.
It's been brilliant.
Thank
Remember
you.
the side draw as well.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know if you can see the comments on the right-hand side, Diana. There's lots of comments. Guys, if you've shared the interview, we will pick your name. I think it's your turn this week, Alice.
It is my turn. Yes, it is.
I've got 3 backing up that people that can't make certain dates I owe. If you can, guys, if you let us know you've shared, and then hopefully Diana can pick your name and get in contact with Alice, and she'll give you a free half-hour reading. That will be. Can you see the comments, Diana?
I can see enter to win a 30-minute reading. Yeah.
Sharing. Can you see where the people are coming in and saying, no, it's okay. That's okay. Do you want me to pick one for you, Alice?
Yes, you just pick one for me, Paul. That's fine.
Okay, so I'm going to go for Joanne Lewis.
Joanne
Lewis, congratulations, Joanne Lewis. Well done.
If you can just contact me, Joanne, either through Alice Psychic Medium page or www.sparklelight.com or alicetrevorrow@gmail.com. Thank you.
And if you're free now, guys, we're going to go over into Zoom. Alice and I are going to do a little bit of mediumship, just as a little thank you for coming along and supporting us tonight. And if you take the passcode and the link, it's just down there on the group. But for now, it's time to say goodbye, Diana. It's been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Take care.
Pleasure.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I don't know. It's like the Graham Norton red chair. I say it every week. I
Yeah.
don't like pressing that buttons. She's been an absolutely fabulous guest and brilliant. And guys, I can't recommend Diana's YouTube page. There's so much on there about the unicorns and the dragons and the ascension as well. So hop along to Diana's YouTube, and yeah, it's well worth a look. I've spent hours this week doing my research on Diana's some brilliant stuff on there. But Alice, I'm just waffling, guys, because I'm aware that I haven't put the Zoom link and passcode up. So
You did.
Did I? Not much.
Yeah, it has been up and down.
This is where you could do a little tune for us or sing it. Do you know any good jokes, Alice?
Oh no, no, I don't. No. Well, all you have to do is think about me sneezing, and then you'll have a good laugh at that.
Oh, my microphone going funny. Yeah, my mic going as well. What is that about? I don't know. I've got another mic. I've spent so much money on microphones. I need to talk to the angels to sort that out for me. So we're going to say goodbye, and we'll see you guys over on Zoom. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again not this time next week, 8 o'clock next week. We've got another medium, Jeffrey. Oh gosh, I've written it down here. I forget every week. Jeffrey Becker is coming on, and at 8 o'clock next week. So take care, guys, and we will see you over on Zoom, or we'll see you next week on Spiritual Talk TV. Take care, everybody.
Good night.